The automotive industry is experiencing a collapse that dealerships are desperately trying to hide from you. Right now, 15 major car brands are hemorrhaging billions while slashing prices to levels that would have been unthinkable just 3 years ago. These are not minor discounts or seasonal sales. We are talking about price cuts that would make Black Friday look conservative. Models that commanded waiting lists are now sitting on lots for 6 months or longer, collecting dust while desperate sales managers authorize deals that destroy their own profit margins. You have been told that the market is simply adjusting, that supply chain issues are resolving, that everything will stabilize. The reality is far more brutal. Multiple established brands are executing what amounts to a slow-motion collapse, selling off inventory at near cost just to keep factories operational and employees on payroll. In this video, I am pulling back the curtain on which 15 brands are circling the drain, why their fire sale pricing will not save them, and what this meltdown means if you are considering a purchase in the next 12 months. Make sure you subscribe right now because what I am about to reveal will fundamentally change how you view the entire automotive marketplace. Number one is not just struggling. Internal documents suggest they are preparing contingency plans for a complete North American withdrawal. Number 15, Mitsubishi. The forgotten Japanese brand is fading into automotive obscurity despite decades of presence in the American market. Their product lineup stagnation has reached crisis levels, with models like the Outlander Sport essentially unchanged for nearly a decade. Walk into a Mitsubishi showroom today, and you will see vehicles that look and feel like they were designed during the Obama administration because they literally were. Meanwhile, competitors are on their third generation of updates, leaving Mitsubishi's offerings feeling like automotive fossils. Number 14, Dodge. Dodge's muscle car dependency has become an existential crisis as the automotive world pivots toward electrification. Their identity extinction looms large as gas-powered performance becomes increasingly difficult to sustain. The brand built its modern reputation entirely on Hellcat engines, Hemi-power, and quarter-mile times. But with regulatory pressures, fuel economy standards, and corporate electrification mandates, this entire identity faces obsolescence. Dodge is essentially a one-trick pony, and someone just banned that trick. Number 13, Lincoln. Lincoln's luxury aspirations continue falling short despite repeated reinvention attempts and massive marketing investments. Their differentiation struggle against Ford's siblings remains the fundamental problem undermining every revival effort. Models like the Nautilus and Aviator share platforms, powertrains, and many components with Ford Edge and Explorer variants. When the mechanical relationship is this close, convincing consumers to pay thousands more for upgraded interiors, and additional sound insulation becomes an increasingly difficult value proposition. Number 12, Subaru. Subaru's once unstoppable growth trajectory has hit unexpected turbulence as the brand faces challenges it never anticipated. Their market saturation in key regions has become increasingly apparent, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and Northeast corridors, where Subaru achieved almost cult-like status. In some affluent suburban zip codes, market share exceeds 20%. A penetration level that leaves minimal room for further expansion. When 1 in 5 vehicles on the road already wears your badge, finding new customers becomes mathematically challenging. Number 11, Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo's romantic Italian image cannot overcome the harsh mathematics of American market realities. Their volume failure has become undeniable, with sales numbers that barely register as a rounding error in total industry statistics. Despite stunning designs and genuinely engaging driving dynamics, Alfa Romeo sells fewer vehicles in an entire year than Toyota sells Camrys in a single month. This microscopic market share makes business case viability increasingly questionable for parent company Stellantis. The reliability reputation continues haunting every sales conversation despite engineering improvements in recent models. Consumer Reports consistently ranks Alfa Romeo near the bottom in predicted reliability, a scarlet letter that no amount of marketing can overcome. Potential buyers research online and immediately encounter horror stories about electrical problems, mysterious warning lights, and repair costs that rival exotic car ownership. Number 10. Jaguar. Jaguar's transformation attempt into an ultra-luxury electric brand represents one of the riskiest gambles in automotive history. Their production pause for reinvention has created a bizarre situation where the brand is essentially invisible in showrooms for extended periods. As existing inventory depletes and new products remain months or years away, Jaguar dealers are operating glorified service centers rather than sales operations. This voluntary market absence allows competitors to capture customers who might have considered Jaguar, potentially losing them forever. The electric transformation skepticism is particularly acute among Jaguar's traditional customer base, which skews older and more conservative in vehicle preferences. Market research indicates that current Jaguar owners show minimal interest in electric vehicles as replacement purchases, creating a terrifying disconnect between corporate strategy and customer demand. Jaguar is essentially betting that it can attract an entirely new customer demographic while simultaneously abandoning the buyers who have sustained the brand for decades. This gamble is complicated by Jaguar's historical reliability baggage that continues to haunt brand perception despite objective improvements. The Jag in the shop stereotype persists in consumer consciousness, routinely appearing in online discussions and casual conversations about luxury vehicle ownership. Decades of quality problems have created a reputation deficit that requires extraordinary products and customer experiences to overcome, neither of which Jaguar has consistently delivered in recent years. Underlying everything is luxury positioning uncertainty as Jaguar attempts to compete in ultra-premium territory traditionally occupied by Bentley and Aston Martin. With base prices expected to start above $100,000 for upcoming electric models, Jaguar faces the challenge of justifying pricing that exceeds established luxury competitors by 30 to 50%. Without the heritage of Rolls-Royce or the performance credentials of Ferrari, convincing affluent buyers to pay this premium requires a value proposition that remains frustratingly unclear in all corporate communications. Number 9. Ram. Ram's separation strategy from Dodge was supposed to create a focused truck brand that could compete directly with Ford and Chevrolet. Instead, it has created unexpected vulnerabilities that threaten market position. Market share pressure from Ford and Chevrolet has intensified, with both competitors introducing aggressive updates and maintaining stronger brand recognition. Despite Ram's product excellence, particularly in the premium heavy-duty segment, overall truck market share has stagnated or declined in key markets where growth was anticipated. The old Dodge equity that once supported truck sales has dissipated faster than expected, leaving Ram without the emotional connection that multi-generational truck buyers have with Ford and Chevy. Product portfolio gaps are becoming increasingly apparent, particularly in the commercial and fleet segments that generate volume and profit for competitors. Ram's focus on premium consumer trucks, while financially attractive per unit, has left the brand underrepresented in work truck and commercial applications. Fleet buyers who purchase dozens or hundreds of trucks annually show strong loyalty to Ford and GM, leaving Ram fighting for scraps in this high-volume segment. More concerning is the capability perception disadvantage that persists despite objective performance parity or superiority. Buyers continue to perceive Ford and Chevrolet trucks as more capable or reliable, even when specifications demonstrate otherwise. This perception gap, rooted in decades of brand equity and cultural positioning, proves remarkably resistant to marketing messages or incentive spending. Ram's attempts to overcome it through advertising have yielded minimal results, suggesting that some brand disadvantages cannot be overcome regardless of product quality. The cultural identity problem is perhaps most intractable. Ram lacks the nostalgic emotional appeal that Ford and Chevrolet leverage in truck marketing. There are no Ram songs in country music, no multi-generational Ram families passing down truck loyalty like inherited traits. Without this cultural foundation, Ram remains a choice based on rational features rather than emotional connection, leaving the brand vulnerable whenever competitors achieve feature parity or pricing advantages. Number 8. Volvo. Volvo's pricing strategy has pushed the Swedish brand into territory where it struggles to justify its premium positioning against entrenched German rivals. Their lease payment reality has become a serious obstacle, with monthly costs that shock consumers accustomed to mainstream pricing. A well-equipped XC90 now carries lease payments approaching luxury German three-row SUVs, creating direct comparisons that Volvo rarely wins. Most buyers, when faced with similar monthly costs, gravitate toward the established prestige of BMW or Mercedes rather than the understated Swedish alternative. This pricing pressure combines with an electric commitment timeline that may have been overly aggressive for market conditions. Volvo announced plans to become fully electric by specific target years, only to quietly walk back these commitments as consumer adoption rates disappoint. This backpedaling creates credibility issues, undermining future product announcements and corporate messaging. If Volvo cannot deliver on its own electrification promises, what other commitments might prove equally hollow? Competition from Polestar, Volvo's own performance electric brand, creates bizarre internal dynamics. Polestar models increasingly overlap with Volvo offerings in size, price, and capability, essentially forcing consumers to choose between two brands owned by the same parent company. This internal competition dilutes marketing resources and confuses consumers about each brand's distinct value proposition. Why choose a Volvo electric model when Polestar offers similar capabilities with more performance-oriented positioning? The fundamental issue is brand prestige limitations that prevent Volvo from commanding true luxury pricing despite product quality that often exceeds German competitors. Consumer perception studies consistently show Volvo rated below BMW, Mercedes, and Audi in brand prestige, a gap that translates into lower acceptable transaction prices and weaker residual values. This prestige deficit, regardless of how unfair or outdated, creates a ceiling on Volvo's profitability and market positioning that no amount of Scandinavian design can overcome. Number 7. Maserati. Maserati's steep discounting has destroyed whatever exclusive luxury positioning the Italian brand once claimed. Their desperate incentive spending now rivals mainstream brands, with some dealers advertising 20% off manufacturer-suggested retail pricing on brand new models. When a supposed exotic luxury brand is running clearance sales like a department store, the entire premium positioning collapses. These discounts attract the wrong customers while alienating the affluent buyers who value exclusivity above all else. The quality reputation crisis has reached levels that threaten brand viability in the American market. Reliability ratings consistently place Maserati at or near the bottom of all luxury brands, with predicted problems that rival the worst mainstream offerings. Owners report electrical gremlins, software glitches, and mechanical problems that would be embarrassing in a $30,000 vehicle and are absolutely unacceptable in six-figure luxury automobiles. These quality issues generate social media horror stories that potential buyers inevitably discover during their research process. Dealer experience inconsistency compounds quality problems, with service capabilities varying wildly from one location to another. Some Maserati dealers operate as afterthoughts within larger multi-brand facilities, lacking the specialized expertise or parts inventory necessary for proper maintenance. Owners describe waiting weeks for common repairs, being unable to get loaner vehicles, and dealing with service advisors unfamiliar with their vehicles. These experiences contradict every promise of luxury ownership. Parent company Stellantis has shown minimal commitment signals, treating Maserati as a low priority within a vast portfolio of brands competing for limited resources. Product development budgets are constrained, marketing support is minimal, and strategic direction seems to shift with each leadership change. This lack of institutional commitment creates uncertainty about Maserati's long-term viability, making it nearly impossible to convince affluent buyers to invest six figures in a brand that might not exist in a decade. Number 6. Land Rover. Land Rover's reliability catastrophe has finally caught up with brand perception despite decades of customer loyalty and brand prestige. Their Their consistent bottom-tier rankings in every major reliability study have moved from industry secret to common knowledge. Consumer Reports, J.D. Power, and virtually every automotive data firm places Land Rover at or near the bottom, predicting problems at rates that shame the brand's premium positioning. These ratings are no longer hidden in automotive industry publications. They appear in the first page of any Google search. The ownership cost horror stories have proliferated across social media and online forums, creating a reputation crisis that marketing cannot overcome. Owners document electrical problems that leave vehicles stranded, air suspension failures that cost thousands to repair, infotainment systems that freeze or reboot while driving, and mysterious warning lights that defy dealer diagnosis. These real-world experiences, shared across thousands of posts and videos, create a narrative of unreliability that drowns out any official brand messaging. Depreciation acceleration has reached levels that make Land Rover ownership financially punishing even for affluent buyers who can absorb the maintenance costs. 3-year-old models lose approximately 15 to 20% more value than comparable luxury SUVs from Audi, BMW, or Lexus. This depreciation differential amounts to tens of thousands of dollars, effectively making Land Rover ownership dramatically more expensive than alternatives with similar purchase prices. Lease calculations are destroyed by these poor residual values, forcing manufacturers to subsidize payments or accept that monthly costs will exceed competitor offerings. Despite these catastrophic problems, the brand loyalty paradox remains fascinating as some owners continue repurchasing despite terrible experiences. This loyalty, rooted in brand image and social status rather than rational ownership calculations, has sustained Land Rover through reliability problems that would have killed less prestigious brands. However, even this loyalty is finally eroding as reliability issues become impossible to ignore and resale losses too substantial to rationalize. The next generation of Land Rover customers is notably absent. Number 5. Tesla. Tesla's dramatic fall from untouchable market dominance to struggling competitor represents one of the fastest reputation collapses in automotive history. Their market saturation in affluent areas has become undeniable, with some upscale neighborhoods showing Tesla ownership approaching 20% of all vehicles. This concentration creates visibility fatigue, where the vehicles that once signaled innovation and environmental consciousness now simply fade into background traffic. The exclusivity that drove early adoption has completely evaporated. Political controversy impact has accelerated customer defection at rates that alarm even critics who predicted eventual decline. The CEO's increasing political involvement and controversial public statements have transformed brand perception from universally admired innovation to politically divisive statement. Market research shows that purchase consideration among affluent liberal buyers, once Tesla's core demographic, has collapsed by more than half. Many former enthusiasts now actively avoid the brand due to association with positions they oppose. This collapse combines with competition arrival from established luxury brands that have finally delivered credible electric alternatives. Mercedes EQ models, BMW i vehicles, Audi e-tron variants, and even Genesis electric offerings provide genuine alternatives to Tesla's products. These competitors offer traditional luxury appointments, dealer networks with actual service capacity, and build quality that often exceeds Tesla's inconsistent manufacturing standards. For many buyers, Tesla's early technology advantage no longer justifies accepting its compromises. Quality perception has shifted dramatically, with build quality issues that were once excused as startup growing pains now viewed as inexcusable in a mature manufacturer. Panel gaps, paint defects, interior squeaks, and rattles that owners once rationalized as acceptable in pioneering vehicles now seem like evidence of corporate indifference to craftsmanship. Social media has amplified these quality concerns, with delivery day inspection videos routinely documenting multiple defects that would be rejected at any traditional luxury brand. Number 4. Nissan. Nissan's decade-long decline has accelerated into what increasingly resembles a death spiral. Their quality crisis continues with CVT problems that have generated class action lawsuits and destroyed long-term owner confidence. These continuously variable transmissions, installed across much of Nissan's lineup for over a decade, have proven catastrophically unreliable. Owners report failures at mileage as low as 60 or 70,000 miles, with replacement costs often exceeding $5,000. The problem is so pervasive that used car buyers now actively avoid Nissan models from entire model years. This quality catastrophe has triggered brand value collapse that manifests in resale calculations. Nissan vehicles now depreciate faster than almost any mainstream competitor, losing value at rates that approach luxury brand deterioration without the luxury brand initial pricing to cushion the fall. 3-year-old Nissan models frequently sell for 40% less than original purchase prices, a depreciation rate that destroys lease calculations and makes new vehicle purchases financially irrational for informed consumers. The dealer network instability has become visible across suburban and rural markets, with closures and consolidations that leave remaining dealers overwhelmed. In regions where Nissan once maintained 5 or 6 dealerships, they now operate 2 or 3. These remaining dealers face inventory constraints, part shortages, and customer service demands that exceed their capacity. The decline in dealer support creates a vicious cycle where poor ownership experiences further damage brand reputation. Most concerning is the lack of product pipeline that signals corporate investment has essentially ceased in North America. New model introductions have slowed to a trickle, with existing vehicles receiving minimal updates or refreshes. The products that built Nissan's reputation, like the Maxima sedan and Titan truck, have either been discontinued or allowed to age into irrelevance. This product stagnation suggests that parent company executives have already written off North American operations, maintaining minimal presence while debate continues about complete withdrawal. Number 3. Volkswagen. Volkswagen's American struggles continue despite multiple reinvention attempts and billions in investment. Their Dieselgate hangover persists in brand perception, with trust deficits that extend far beyond the original scandal. Consumer surveys reveal that Volkswagen ranks among the lowest in corporate trustworthiness, a devastating position for a brand that depends on perceived German engineering integrity. Many buyers who might otherwise consider Volkswagen simply cannot move past the institutional dishonesty that the emissions scandal represented. This trust deficit combines with electric vehicle execution problems that squander Volkswagen's massive investment in electrification. The ID.4, meant to be Volkswagen's electric mainstream breakthrough, has suffered software glitches, delivery delays, and reliability issues that undermine its competitive positioning. Owners report infotainment systems that freeze, range calculations that prove wildly inaccurate, and charging problems that leave vehicles stranded. For a brand attempting to rebuild trust through technology leadership, these problems are devastating. Pricing pressure has intensified as Korean competitors now offer superior value propositions across most segments. Hyundai and Kia provide longer warranties, more standard features, and comparable or superior reliability at lower price points. Volkswagen's traditional justification for premium pricing over mainstream brands was German engineering precision, but this argument collapses when Korean alternatives demonstrate equal or better execution. Without a clear value advantage, Volkswagen has been forced into incentive spending that erodes already thin margins. The dealer network remains frustrated with inconsistent corporate support and unrealistic sales targets. Many dealers invested substantial capital in electric vehicle infrastructure based on optimistic corporate projections, only to watch actual sales volumes fall far short of promises. This broken trust extends beyond consumers into the retail network, creating additional obstacles for any recovery attempt. When your own dealers doubt corporate promises, convincing external customers becomes nearly impossible. Number 2. Stellantis brands collectively. The entire Stellantis portfolio faces systematic challenges that threaten multiple brands simultaneously. Their platform sharing has become excessive, with too many brands selling nearly identical vehicles with different badges. Consumers are not stupid. They recognize when a Chrysler Pacifica shares its fundamental architecture with a Dodge Durango, or when a Jeep Grand Cherokee is mechanically similar to a Wagoneer. Number 1, General Motors Electric Vehicle Program. GM's massive electric vehicle bet represents the most consequential gamble in American automotive history, and warning signs suggest it may fail spectacularly. Their production delays across multiple electric models have squandered first-mover advantages and allowed competitors to establish market positions. The Silverado EV, Equinox EV, and Blazer EV have all faced delays, software problems, and production constraints that prevent GM from capitalizing on substantial investments. Vehicles announced with great fanfare years ago remain largely unavailable, allowing Ford, Hyundai, and Tesla to capture customers who have stopped waiting. So there you have it, 15 car brands and one massive corporate strategy that have gone from industry dominance to clearance pricing in what feels like overnight. What this meltdown really reveals is that the automotive industry's old playbook has been completely shredded. Brand loyalty that took decades to build can collapse in months. Quality problems that companies once buried under marketing campaigns now get exposed instantly on social media. And once buyers lose confidence, no amount of desperate incentive spending can restore trust. The strangest part is that many of these brands still produce objectively competitive products, but they have lost something far more valuable than product excellence. They have lost relevance in a marketplace that has fundamentally changed beneath them. Which brand shocked you most? Drop a comment and tell me if you think any of these companies can actually recover, or if we are watching the slow-motion death of automotive names that define generations. Smash that like button so this video reaches more people who need to understand what is really happening behind the showroom smokescreens. And subscribe because this automotive collapse is far from over, and you need to see what is coming next before you make your next vehicle purchase.